Emma Quinn had never been more certain that her blazer was plotting against her. Every few steps, it bunched at the elbows, making her look like a kid playing dress-up instead of a confident soon-to-be marketing prodigy. She tugged at the sleeves for the 100th time, trying to ignore the sweat gathering at the back of her neck. First-day nerves were normal, she reminded herself. Hyperventilating into her travel mug of cold brew was not. Still, as she stepped into the sleek glass lobby of Hartwell & Company Marketing, she couldn't help grinning. This was it, the kind of place she dreamed of ever since she doodled fake ad campaigns in the margins of her college notebooks. Hartwell was known for bold strategies, glamorous clients, and, if the internet gossip was to be believed, a coffee machine that cost more than her car. Emma Quinn, reporting for intern duty, she whispered under her breath, channeling fake confidence as she checked in with the receptionist. Her voice wobbled, but the receptionist smiled warmly and handed her a visitor badge. Conference Room B, second floor. Orientation starts in 5. Emma's heart thudded as she rode the elevator up. She rehearsed her introduction for the 20th time. Hi, I'm Emma, passionate about creative storytelling and audience engagement. No, too robotic. Hi, I'm Emma, and I'm so excited to, no, that sounded like she'd swallowed a motivational poster. When the doors slid open, she stepped into a space that looked like the inside of an architecture magazine. White walls, glass panels, people who somehow looked important and effortlessly stylish. She took a deep breath and walked toward the room marked Conference B. And that's when she saw him. Liam. Her brain stalled. Her heart didn't. There he was, leaning casually against the edge of the conference table, flipping through a tablet. Same dark hair, same easy posture, same smile that used to make her forget how to form sentences. And the same guy she'd ghosted 3 months ago after their spectacularly awkward first date. Emma froze mid-step. Maybe he wouldn't notice her. Maybe if she backed up slowly and hid behind that fern. Emma Quinn. Oh God, he did notice. His smile lifted, polite but unmistakably surprised. Didn't expect to see you here. She prayed the floor would open up. Liam. Wow. Hi. Her voice cracked on the high. You work here. He gave a small laugh. I do. Senior strategist. Guess I forgot to mention that on our date. Emma's brain scrambled for words. I guess I forgot to mention I'm an intern who ghosts people. Did she really just say that out loud? Judging by Liam's raised eyebrows, yes. Yes, she did. Before she could die of humiliation, the HR coordinator walked in, clapping for attention. Welcome, interns. Today you'll meet your mentors, who you'll be shadowing for the next 8 weeks. Emma's stomach dropped. There were 8 interns and 8 mentors. Fate wouldn't be that cruel, right? Emma Quinn, the coordinator called. You'll be with Liam Carter. Liam's eyes met hers. For a heartbeat, neither spoke. Then, with a faint smirk, he said, looks like we'll be seeing a lot of each other. Emma sat through the rest of orientation in a fog. Every time Liam's voice carried from the other end of the table, her pulse tripped over itself. He was calm, confident, explaining the firm's philosophy about branding as storytelling. Exactly the kind of insight that had made her admire him in the first place. But beneath the charm, there was a new coolness, a professional distance that stung more than she wanted to admit. She'd ghosted him to avoid vulnerability, to avoid the messy what-ifs. Now here he was, her mentor, her daily co-worker, and a walking reminder that timing had a wicked sense of humor. As the session ended, Liam stopped by her chair. I'll show you around, he said. She nodded, clutching her notebook like a lifeline. Sure. But, just so we're clear about before. He smiled faintly. Water under the bridge, Quinn. Let's focus on the internship. Professional. Cool. Unbothered. So why did his voice sound just a little too soft when he said her name? Emma followed him down the hall, heart thudding, realizing this internship was going to be a lot more complicated than she'd imagined. Emma arrived 20 minutes early the next morning, determined to make a fresh impression. Her plan: prove she was the most professional, dedicated intern Hartwell & Company had ever seen. No awkwardness, no fumbling. Just results. Her plan unraveled approximately 3 minutes after she walked through the door. Morning, Quinn, Liam said, appearing behind her as she tried, and failed, to make the espresso machine work. He looked maddeningly put together, rolled sleeves, tie loosened just enough to look effortlessly charming. Emma jumped, nearly knocking over her mug. Oh, morning. I was just trying to figure this thing out. It hates me. He grinned, stepping closer. It's temperamental. Like some interns I know. She shot him a look. I deserve that. Liam reached around her to press a button, and the machine whirred to life. His cologne, something subtle and clean, hit her like a memory she hadn't wanted to remember. Their first date came flooding back. The quiet bar, the way he'd made her laugh until she snorted, how close they'd leaned in before she panicked and bailed. Thanks, she murmured, stepping aside, trying to hide the blush creeping up her neck. He poured his own coffee, then leaned against the counter. Look, Emma. I don't want you to feel weird about us working together. Too late, she muttered, then winced. I mean, not weird. Just slightly mortified every second of the day. A small chuckle escaped him. Honesty. Good start. She glanced up. His smile was genuine, warm, and it made something flutter in her chest that she immediately scolded herself for. This was work. Work. Not second chances and coffee chemistry. So, she said, eager to redirect. What's our first assignment? Client pitch for a lifestyle brand, he said, shifting into professional mode. You'll help with market research and brainstorming taglines. We've got a meeting at 10 to review ideas. Got it, she said quickly. I'll, make sure my ghosting tendencies don't extend to deadlines. He smirked. Good. I'd hate to have to file an HR report for emotional unavailability. Emma groaned, covering her face. Please stop being funny about this. It's making it worse. All right, he said, amused. Truce. Strictly professional. But strictly professional was easier said than done. Throughout the morning, she worked from the desk outside his glass-walled office, her focus dissolving every time his voice drifted out while he was on calls. He had that kind of voice, steady, confident, the kind that made clients trust him and interns develop wildly inconvenient crushes. By lunchtime, she'd written 12 tagline drafts and deleted 9 of them. Every idea sounded like something from a self-help poster. When Liam came over to check her progress, she tried to angle her laptop so he wouldn't see how little she'd done. He leaned in, scanning her notes. Live bold, live bright? Not bad. But what's the emotional hook? She blinked. The what? He smiled. Patient. The part that makes people feel something. Marketing isn't about selling a product. It's about selling a story. She nodded, pretending to jot that down while her brain screamed he's so good at this. Try tying it to a moment, he said. Like, what's the feeling someone has when they use the product? Confidence? Freedom? Relief? Emma thought for a moment. What if it's about celebrating small victories? Like, win your everyday? Liam's eyes lit up. Now that's good. Keep going with that energy. Her chest warmed at the praise. It shouldn't have meant so much, but it did. When he left, Emma sat there for a moment, grinning at her screen. Then she caught her reflection in the glass wall and groaned. Get it together, Quinn, she whispered. You're not here to flirt. You're here to succeed. That afternoon, as the team gathered for the brainstorming session, Emma watched Liam command the room with calm authority. He tossed her a small nod when she offered her idea. The others liked it. Her cheeks hurt from smiling. Maybe this internship wasn't doomed after all. Of course, that thought aged badly. Because as the meeting ended and everyone filed out, Liam turned to her and said, Hey, can we talk for a sec? Her heart stuttered. Sure. He lowered his voice. Just so we're clear, you're doing great. But let's keep things easy between us, okay? No mixed signals. It was kind. Professional. Exactly what she told herself she wanted. So why did it feel like someone had poured cold coffee over her heart? Yeah, she said, forcing a smile. No mixed signals. Got it. As he walked away, she told herself it didn't matter. It was better this way. It was safe. But when he glanced back, just once, over his shoulder, Emma wasn't so sure he believed that either. By week 2, Emma had learned 3 things about working at Hartwell & Company. 1. The coffee machine was an emotional manipulator. It worked perfectly when Liam used it and hissed like an angry cat when she tried. 2. Office plants were a myth. Every single one was plastic. And 3. Pretending she was totally unaffected by Liam Carter was becoming a full-time job. They'd fallen into a rhythm. Sort of. He gave her projects, guided her ideas, and treated her with just enough distance to be maddening. Every compliment came laced with professionalism. Every shared smile stopped just short of something more. Today, they were prepping for a client pitch, a new eco-friendly fashion line targeting young professionals. The task: create a concept that blended sustainability with style. Emma sat cross-legged on the floor of the brainstorming room, surrounded by sticky notes and half-empty coffee cups. Okay, she said, chewing her pen cap. What about something like, look good, do good? Too cheesy. Liam leaned against the wall, arms crossed, watching her with an expression she couldn't quite read. A little cheesy. But it's a start. Maybe focus less on guilt, more on empowerment. Right, she said, scribbling furiously. Wear your values. Or style that speaks. No, that sounds like a perfume ad. You're overthinking, he said, crouching beside her. Tell me the story behind it. If the brand were a person, who would they be? Emma blinked. Probably someone who bikes to work, eats granola, but still loves a good blazer. He grinned. So, you. She laughed. Please. I'm more like someone who says they'll start biking to work and then takes the subway forever. The easy warmth between them returned, that old rhythm of teasing that made her chest ache with nostalgia. For a moment, the air between them felt charged again, like the start of something, like the pause before a spark catches fire. Then Liam cleared his throat and stood. Anyway, let's mock up some visuals for your idea. I'll have design whip something up tomorrow. And just like that, the moment passed. Later that afternoon, Emma stayed behind while the rest of the interns left for lunch. She wanted to finish her notes before the inspiration fizzled. She was mid-sentence when Liam's voice startled her. You know, you don't have to skip lunch every day, he said from the doorway. I'm not skipping, she lied, holding up her yogurt cup. See? Gourmet dining. He smirked. Right. I just don't want you burning out. This job can eat people alive if they let it. She looked up at him, curious. Is that from experience? His expression softened. Yeah. When I started, I was so focused on being perfect that I forgot how to breathe. It's easy to mistake exhaustion for ambition. It was the first truly personal thing he'd shared since the internship began. Something in his tone, the quiet honesty, made her chest tighten. I didn't know that, she said gently. You make it look easy now. He smiled faintly. That's the trick, isn't it? They stood in silence for a moment. The office was unusually quiet, sunlight slanting across the glass walls, painting golden lines across the floor. She wanted to say something, to apologize again for ghosting him, to ask if he ever wondered what would have happened if she hadn't panicked that night. But the words stayed trapped somewhere behind her ribs. Instead, she said, thanks for the advice. I'll, try to eat real food tomorrow. Good, he said. I'd hate for you to faint during our presentation. When he walked away, Emma let out a shaky breath. It was ridiculous how much space he occupied in her mind. He was her boss, or close enough to make this whole thing wildly inappropriate. Yet, every time he smiled, every time his hand brushed hers when they exchanged notes, something inside her tilted toward him like a magnet that refused to learn. That evening, as she packed up her bag, she glanced into his office. The lights were dim, his desk lamp glowing softly as he leaned over a stack of reports. He looked up just as she was about to leave, catching her eye. Heading out? He asked. Yeah, she said. Trying to prove I can have a work-life balance. He smiled. Progress. She hesitated, then added, you should try it sometime too. He laughed quietly, shaking his head. Touché, Quinn. Have a good night. Emma walked out into the cool evening air, heart uncomfortably full. She knew she was playing with fire, but somehow, it didn't feel dangerous, it felt inevitable. By the time presentation week rolled around, Emma's nerves had officially declared mutiny. Her stomach had been in a permanent state of acrobatics since Monday, her desk looked like a sticky note explosion, and she developed a caffeine dependency alarming even by intern standards. Liam, on the other hand, was maddeningly calm. He had that effortless confidence, the kind that made clients hang on his every word and co-workers both admire and resent him in equal measure. It was infuriating, and also, unfortunately, incredibly attractive. Breathe, he said now, glancing over her shoulder at her slides. You look like you're about to duel the projector. I might, she said, glaring at the stubborn screen. It hates me. Technology hates me. Maybe the entire presentation does. Liam chuckled, reaching past her to adjust a cable. It's fine. You're ready. The pitch is solid. I'm not, she muttered, but his calm certainty made her pulse slow a little. They'd spent the week refining her concept, win your every day, into a full campaign. Bright, confident visuals, real people instead of models, and an empowering message that connected sustainability with personal wins. It was bold and heartfelt, and for once, Emma felt proud of something she'd made. Still, the idea of standing in front of half the company made her palms slick with sweat. Liam must have noticed. "You'll do great," he said quietly. "You've got the story, the drive, and that weird ability to make people listen when you care about something." Emma blinked at him. That sounded dangerously close to a compliment. It was. "Don't get used to it." He smiled, softly this time, not teasing. And just like that, her nerves were replaced by something far more distracting. Focus, Quinn. When the presentation started, the adrenaline took over. Emma spoke clearly, confidently, her voice steady as she walked the team through her ideas. She even made the creative director laugh at her self-deprecating joke about greenwashing. By the time she finished, the room actually applauded. She caught Liam's eye. He gave a small nod, pride flickering there. The kind that warmed her all the way to her fingertips. After the meeting, she found him waiting by her desk, 2 coffees in hand. "Victory drink," he said, handing her one. "Does this mean I passed the Liam Carter mentorship exam?" "Barely," he teased. "You'll need to ace the next pitch to get a recommendation." She laughed, taking a sip. It was the good coffee, the kind from the machine that hated her. "You really shouldn't encourage interns with caffeine and validation," she said. "It'll go to our heads." "I'll risk it," he said. "You earned it." The moment stretched, warm and unguarded. She could feel it, the spark that had been simmering since day one, threatening to flare up at any second. And she wanted, desperately, to say something real. Something that had nothing to do with work. "Liam," she began, then faltered. Before." He didn't pretend not to know what she meant. His gaze softened. "Emma." "No, let me," she said quickly, heart hammering. "I owe you an explanation. I shouldn't have ghosted you. You were great. I was just scared, I guess. Things felt big. And I didn't know how to handle it." He was quiet for a long moment. Then, "You didn't owe me anything. But, thank you for saying that." She let out a shaky breath. "I thought you'd hate me." He shook his head, a half-smile tugging at his lips. "Hate's a strong word. Mildly annoyed might be more accurate." "Fair." The air between them shifted again, less guarded this time, more honest. He looked at her like he was remembering that night too, the laughter, the almost kiss that had never happened. And then, as if the universe couldn't stand to let her have one cinematic moment, the office janitor appeared in the doorway, holding a mop. "Oh, sorry," he said, startled. "Didn't mean to interrupt. Whatever this is." Emma practically jumped back, mortified. "We were just talking about sustainability." "Sure you were," the janitor said, smirking as he left. Liam tried not to laugh. He failed. "Smooth. Quinn. Real smooth." Emma covered her face. "I hate everything." When she dared to peek at him, his grin was pure mischief, and something else. Something softer. "Come on," he said finally. "You deserve to go home before you start drafting apology emails to the janitor." As they walked out together, shoulder to shoulder, Emma felt the strange weight of something unfinished between them. Not tension. Exactly. Not regret, either. Something in between. Something that felt a lot like hope. The Monday after the presentation, Emma expected things to feel lighter. They'd nailed the pitch, the creative director had complimented her ideas in front of the entire floor, and for once, she didn't trip over her own tongue in a meeting. She should have been on a post-success high. But instead, Liam was distant. He wasn't cold exactly, just different. Where he'd once stopped by her desk to trade jokes or ask her opinion, now his emails were clipped, his smiles polite. Every interaction stayed neatly within the lines of strictly professional. And Emma hated how much she noticed. She tried to rationalize it. He was busy, maybe stressed, maybe avoiding office gossip, but the small ache in her chest didn't care about logic. By midweek, the ache turned into full-blown anxiety when whispers started around the intern bullpen. "Word is, Carter's playing favorites," one of the other interns, Madison, said over lunch. Apparently his intern got to lead a presentation, which never happens. Emma's stomach dropped. "Wait, what?" Madison shrugged. "That's what I heard. Don't worry, I told them you're just, like, weirdly competent. Thanks, Emma said weakly. She spent the rest of the afternoon overthinking every glance, every compliment Liam had ever given her. What if people actually believed she was getting special treatment? What if it ruined his reputation? Or hers? That thought made her feel sick. So when she saw him later, leaning over a project board, she forced herself to act normal. Hey, do you have a second? He looked up, cautious. Sure. People are talking, she said, voice low. About the presentation. About us. Something flickered in his expression. Surprise, then resignation. I figured that might happen. Well, I just wanted to say, I don't want to make things harder for you. So maybe we should, keep things extra professional. Extra professional. She winced. You know what I mean. He sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. Emma, you didn't do anything wrong. Neither did you, she said quickly. But this office eats rumors for breakfast. I just don't want to give anyone a reason to doubt that I earned this. For a second, he looked like he wanted to argue. Then he just nodded. Okay. If that's what you want. It wasn't what she wanted. Not at all. But she nodded too, forcing a smile. It's better this way. After that, things changed again. Their interactions became brisk, efficient, polite emails instead of casual chats, meetings that ended with an awkward thanks instead of laughter. Emma buried herself in work, channeling her confusion into productivity. And yet, every now and then, she caught him watching her from across the office, that same unreadable look on his face. Stop it, Quinn, she told herself one evening, shutting down her laptop. You wanted boundaries. You got them. But later, walking out of the building, she heard footsteps behind her. Hey, wait up, Liam called. She turned, startled. Thought you left ages ago. Had to finish a report, he said, then hesitated. Listen, about earlier, I just wanted to make sure we're okay. Emma nodded. We're fine. You sure? Positive. He studied her face for a moment, like he didn't quite believe her. Because you've been avoiding me. I'm not avoiding you, she said quickly. I'm just trying to be respectful. Professional. Liam gave a small, almost sad smile. Right. Professional. He glanced toward the street, where the city lights blurred against the dusk. For what it's worth, I'm proud of how you handled that pitch. You're good at this, Emma. Really good. Her chest tightened. Thanks. He nodded once, hands in his pockets. See you tomorrow, then. See you. She watched him walk away, that calm, confident stride that had first caught her eye months ago. And for the first time since she'd started at Hartwell, she felt completely unsure of what she wanted. Because the truth was, professionalism didn't stop her from thinking about him. It didn't stop her from replaying their almost moment after the presentation, or wondering what might have happened if the janitor hadn't walked in. It didn't stop her from hoping, just a little, that this wasn't the end of their story. 2 weeks later, Emma had finally gotten used to the quiet. She'd thrown herself into every assignment that crossed her desk, reports, research, late-night PowerPoints, even the occasional coffee run when it meant she could stay useful. Her reputation as the most caffeinated intern alive was spreading fast, but at least it distracted her from the uneasy distance that had settled between her and Liam. The thing was, work was going really well. Hartwell had just landed a potential contract with a high-profile wellness brand, and the team was in a frenzy preparing for the pitch. It was the kind of project that could make or break careers. For Emma, it was a chance to prove she wasn't just Liam Carter's intern, she was capable on her own. When the email came through that she'd been added to the official pitch team, she reread it twice to make sure it wasn't a mistake. Then she peeked over the partition toward Liam's office. He was already watching her, expression unreadable. She mouthed, "Was this you?" He shook his head, then smiled faintly. "You earned it." That small, silent exchange sent a warm flutter through her chest. For the next few days, the office felt electric. The team worked late, brainstorming slogans and designing mock-ups. Emma's job was to refine the campaign's social media angle, a balance of authenticity and aspiration. It was right in her wheelhouse, and despite the pressure, she felt herself thriving. Every so often, Liam stopped by her workstation, offering quiet feedback. Their conversations were short, careful, but always threaded with something unspoken. "You're good at finding emotional hooks," he said one night, scanning her draft captions. "Most people focus on features. You focus on feelings. Occupational hazard, she said. I overanalyze everything. Including people. His lips curved slightly. Including me. She froze, pen hovering over her notes. That depends. Do you want an honest answer or a professional one? He looked at her for a long moment before replying, softly, honest. Emma opened her mouth, but before she could say anything, the creative director called Liam over to review a slide deck. The moment dissolved, just like always. The day of the pitch came too fast. The boardroom gleamed under the early morning light. The client team sat at the far end of the table, all polished smiles and sleek suits. Emma tried not to let her shaking hand show as she adjusted her laptop. Liam stood beside her, calm and grounded, his presence oddly steadying. You've got this, he murmured as the clients filed in. She gave a nervous smile. I'm holding you personally responsible if I pass out. He chuckled quietly. Deal. Then it began. Liam opened with the firm's philosophy, clarity, creativity, authenticity. Emma followed with the campaign story, her slides flicking to life behind her. The concept, balance in motion, was about celebrating progress, not perfection. She told a story about small wins, self-kindness, and the joy of finding rhythm in chaos. When she finished, the room was quiet for a moment. Then the client lead smiled. That was unexpectedly moving, she said. I love it. Emma's heart soared. The rest of the presentation flowed easily, and by the end, the clients were nodding, excited, asking for follow-ups. As soon as they left, the Hartwell team erupted into relieved laughter. Someone popped a bottle of sparkling water and sprayed it into the air. Emma stood there in the middle of it all, drenched and grinning, when she felt a tap on her shoulder. Liam. He didn't say anything, just looked at her, pride written all over his face. And for once, he didn't hold back. He pulled her into a quick, impulsive hug. You were brilliant, he said, his voice low near her ear. Emma froze, then laughed shakily. You can't say things like that in public. People will talk. Let them, he said. But then, almost reluctantly, he let go. For the rest of the day, the office buzzed with congratulations. Emma caught snippets of praise, natural talent, fresh voice, promotion potential. It felt unreal. But when HR sent out an email that evening announcing new internal promotions were opening next week, the triumph twisted into something else. Because if she applied, she'd have to compete against senior interns, and Liam would be one of the reviewers. Her stomach sank. If she went for it, people might say she was only advancing because of him. If she didn't, she'd be holding herself back for the sake of appearances. That night, she sat at her desk long after everyone else left, staring at the blank application form. Her phone buzzed, a message from Liam. Liam, great job today. You should be proud. She hesitated before replying. Emma, thanks. Trying to figure out if I should apply for that promotion. His response came quickly. Liam, you should. Don't let fear make your choices for you. Emma smiled faintly, typing back. Emma, that sounds like something you'd say to a client. Liam, maybe. But I mean it. She stared at the screen for a long time, warmth blooming quietly in her chest. Maybe it was time to stop running from the things that scared her. Emma didn't sleep much that weekend. Every time she closed her eyes, her mind replayed the same two possibilities. Apply for the promotion and risk looking like she'd been favored, or stay quiet and regret it. By Sunday night, she drafted, deleted, and retyped her application 3 times. The 4th time, she left it open on her laptop and made a cup of tea, trying to breathe. It wasn't just a form. It was a statement. I deserve to be here. She thought of Liam's message. Don't let fear make your choices for you. He was right. He usually was. She hit submit before she could change her mind. Monday morning, the office buzzed with talk of promotions. The interns were trying to play it cool, but everyone was checking emails more than working. Emma arrived early, clutching her coffee like armor, and headed straight for her desk. She found Liam already there, reviewing a campaign brief. Morning, she said, pretending her heart wasn't racing. He looked up, his usual calm expression softening a little. Hey! You apply. Yep, she said, forcing a smile. No backing out now. He nodded slowly, studying her face. Good. I'm glad. Something in his tone, gentle, proud, made her chest tighten. But before she could say anything, another intern, Madison, appeared behind her. Emma. Congrats, Madison said brightly. Heard your name's on the shortlist. Emma blinked. Already? Unofficially, Madison said with a shrug. Word travels fast. Just, hope your mentor doesn't have too much influence, huh? Emma's stomach dropped. Madison smiled sweetly and walked off, leaving the air around them colder than before. She turned back to Liam, cheeks burning. Great. Now I'm the office gossip again. Liam's jaw tightened. Ignore it. You earned that spot. I know, she said quietly. But it's not just about me. I don't want to make things harder for you either. He sighed. Emma. No, really, she said, forcing a laugh. I'll just have to be so good they can't question it, right? He smiled at that, though it didn't reach his eyes. That's the spirit. The next few days were a blur of interviews, presentations, and awkward elevator rides where Liam and Emma pretended not to read each other's minds. At night, Emma sat at her kitchen table, laptop glowing, trying to focus on prep questions. But all she could think about was him, his quiet encouragement, the way his eyes softened when he was proud of her, the tiny smile he gave her when he thought no one was looking. On Wednesday, the shortlist interviews began. Emma's slot was right after lunch. She wore her best blazer, the one that used to feel too big but now felt like it actually belonged to her. As she walked into the conference room, she caught a glimpse of Liam sitting among the panelists. He gave her a small nod, barely there, but enough to steady her nerves. The interview went well, better than she dared to hope. The senior partners asked about her creative process, her leadership potential, and the Win Your Everyday campaign. Emma answered honestly, letting her enthusiasm shine through. But one question caught her off guard. Some might say your relationship with your mentor has influenced your trajectory here, one partner said delicately. How would you respond to that? Emma felt her pulse spike. Out of the corner of her eye, she saw Liam shift, expression unreadable. She took a breath. I'd say mentorship is about guidance, not favoritism, she said steadily. Liam taught me how to think strategically, but the work? That's mine. I can't control what people assume, but I can control what I deliver. There was a pause. Then, the partner smiled. Good answer. When she left the room, her hands were shaking. But for the first time, it wasn't from fear. Later that evening, as the sun dipped low over the skyline, she found herself back on the rooftop terrace, the same one where interns sometimes ate lunch when the cafeteria was too loud. She leaned on the railing, the city humming below. Footsteps sounded behind her. I thought I'd find you here, Liam said. Emma turned, smiling faintly. You're predictable. He came to stand beside her. How'd it feel? Terrifying. Empowering. Both. He nodded. You handled it well. Especially that question about me. Yeah, sorry about that, she said, grimacing. Didn't mean to drag you into my PR crisis. He laughed softly. Don't worry. You made me sound good. They fell into silence, the kind that wasn't uncomfortable anymore. The wind tugged at her hair. The city lights flickered in the glass below. Emma, Liam said after a long pause. You know, I can't say much before the decisions are final. But whatever happens, you belong here. With or without the title. Her throat tightened. Thank you. He looked at her, really looked, and she saw something in his eyes that made her heart stutter. A mix of pride, longing, and something dangerously close to love. For a moment, she thought he might reach for her. But then he just smiled, the kind that said everything and nothing at once. Good night, Quinn, he said quietly. As he walked away, Emma exhaled, half smiling at the sky. She didn't know what the next week would bring, but for the first time in a long time, she wasn't scared of it. She'd risked something real, and whatever the outcome, it already felt like a win. Emma woke up on Monday with a knot in her stomach and 3 unread emails from HR. She stared at her phone for a solid minute before opening the first one. The subject line read, Promotion Results, Internal Review. Her heart thudded once, hard. She clicked. Congratulations, Emma Quinn, effective immediately. You are promoted to Junior Associate, Content Strategy Division. For a second, she just stared. Then she let out a sound somewhere between a laugh and a gasp, dropping her phone on the bed. She'd done it. She'd actually done it. The relief came first, then the nerves. Because she knew exactly who she wanted to tell first. By the time she reached the office, her heart had settled into a jittery rhythm. Everyone already knew. HR emails spread faster than gossip. Madison gave her a tight smile. Congrats, Quinn. Guess hard work, Or knowing the right people really pays off. Emma's smile didn't waver. Guess so. Let them talk. She'd earned this. Every late night, every revision, every risk, this was hers. She spent the morning in meetings, accepting congratulations and pretending she wasn't constantly scanning the room for Liam. But he was nowhere. His office blinds were closed, and his name wasn't on the afternoon meeting calendar. It wasn't until almost 6 that she got a message from him. Liam, rooftop? Her stomach flipped. The rooftop terrace was quiet at dusk, the air tinged with the scent of rain. Emma stepped out, finding him leaning against the railing, suit jacket off, sleeves rolled up. He looked both completely at ease and utterly impossible. Hey, she said softly. Hey, he replied, smiling. Congratulations, Junior Associate Quinn. She laughed, stepping closer. So it's official. No more intern coffee runs for me. Tragic, he said. Who's going to bring me terrible espresso now? I'll make sure my replacement inherits the curse. They both laughed, but beneath it, the air felt charged. The city buzzed below, gold and restless, but up here it was just them, the mentor and the intern who'd started as a mistake and turned into something neither could name. I wanted to tell you earlier, he said quietly. But HR wanted to finalize things first. You impressed everyone. You didn't need me to vouch for you. I didn't think you would, she said. You're too ethical for that. He smiled. I wanted to. But you didn't need me to. She looked at him then, really looked. You know, when I started here, I was terrified. Of failing, of embarrassing myself, of you. Of me. Of what you made me feel, she admitted. It was easier to run than to risk something real. Liam's expression softened, a hint of surprise flickering in his eyes. Emma. I'm done running, she said, voice steady now. I know the timing's messy. I know this could get complicated. But if I don't say it now, I'll regret it. She took a breath. I like you, Liam. A lot. Not as my mentor, not as the guy I ghosted, but as you. For a long moment, he didn't speak. The wind brushed between them, cool and quiet. Then he smiled, slowly, genuinely, like it reached somewhere deep. You have terrible timing, he said softly. I know, she said. It's kind of my thing. He laughed, shaking his head. You also have terrible taste in coffee and an alarming fondness for sticky notes. Is that your way of letting me down gently? He stepped closer, his voice low. No. It's my way of saying I like you too. Emma froze, heart thudding. You do. I did, he said, taking another step. From that first date you ran away from. Her breath caught. I'm sorry about that. I know, he said. But maybe we could try again. No work talk. No ghosting. Deal, she whispered. And then he leaned in, brushing his lips against hers, a kiss that was soft, certain, and overdue. It wasn't fireworks or movie magic. It was something better, steady, real, built from everything they'd been too scared to say until now. When they pulled apart, she was laughing, breathless. So what now? He grinned. Now. You go be brilliant in your new role. And maybe, if you're free Friday, we have dinner. Dinner sounds good, she said. Just don't expect me to let you pay this time. Wouldn't dream of it. They stood there a moment longer, the city stretching out before them, bright and alive, full of possibilities. For the first time since her first day, Emma felt like she was exactly where she was supposed to be. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more original novel stories. And stay tuned, our next story is coming soon.